Hello everyone, my name is Harmek and I'm from Network Techs Academy. Welcome to this tutorial on static routing, DHCP and DHCP relay configuration. Thank you for connecting because in this session, we're gonna explore three different things that's gonna help you more to understand how network works. We will explore how networks communicate efficiently using static routes, and the second gonna be how IP addresses are assigned dynamically with DHCP, and the last gonna be how DHCP really helps extend this functionality across multiple networks. By the end of this tutorial, I believe that you will understand the concepts, see step-by-step configurations, and gain practical skills to apply this technology in real-world networking environment. As you can see, we have two router. This is the first one and this is the second one. And the first one gonna be the DHCP server, and the last and the second router gonna be the IP helper. Okay, now let me start with the configuration. I think the configuration gonna be more easy for everyone. The first thing to do is to assign the IP address to the router. Okay, this is the first things we have to do now, to assign the IP address to the router. No. Conft. Sorry. Conft host name. No. Let me give the host name DHCP server. No, host name DHCP server. Then let us go to the first interface. First interface is gonna be the link interface that is connected to the router 2. It is 0. The IP address is 10.1.255.255.0. No shutdown. Let us move to the second interface. Interface G001. IP address 192.168.1.1. 0. No IP address. Okay, now we've done with the router 1. We just assigned the IP address. Now let us move to the router 2. T interface G00, IP address 10.1.2. Sorry, it's supposed to be 10, not 19. 255. No shutdown. Bits interface G1G. The IP address is 172.16.1.1. This is the subnet mask. No shutdown. Okay, now I'm gonna go back to router 1. Router 1 is our server. What we have to do now, we have to configure the DHCP server. Why we'd like to configure the DHCP server? Because we'd like all those computers to get the IP address automatically. The DHCP is used to assign the automatic IP address to the client. Or you can also say that DHCP is used to automate IP address assignment for client devices. I think that is a simple definition that you can use. First, I want you to understand the concept. Then, now let us go to the configuration of DHCP IP DHCP pool. We have to create the pool first. The pool, we can call it zone. Then the network is the network is 255. I forgot to put the subnet mask. Then default IP is 192.168.1.1. Then let us configure the DNS is 888. We can also configure the domain. It depends to us. Domain is networktext.com. Okay, this is let me show his. Okay, those are the commands that we use to configure the DHCP. Those are the commands that we use to configure the DHCP. And now, like I said, we have two routers. We need those computers to get the IP address from the DHCP. As you can see, the network is very small. We cannot use two DHCP server. We're gonna use only one DHCP server, and this one we're gonna configure it as a IP helper. The IP helper is configured on the router to forward DHCP requests across a network. As a result, clients successfully obtain IP addresses, default gateway, and DNS information from a centralized DHCP server. This router is considered like a centralized DHCP server, and we are going to do everything from this router. We are going to configure the DHCP from this router, and in the second router we will just configure the IP helper. Let me go back to router 1, IP DHCP pool. We can call it zone 2. The network is 172.1.0.255 3 times, then 0, default 172.16.1, DNS 88, then domain networktext.com. Okay, now let us save our configuration. Let us check show run. In show run we can see all the configuration. The first is the DHCP configuration of pool zone, this one, and the second is zone 2 for the router 2. Now we have to do the configuration of IP helper in router 2. What we have to do, we have to configure the IP helper. IP helper addresses. When you do the configuration of the IP helper, many people doing this mistake. When you do the configuration of the IP helper, you're gonna put this address. You're gonna put that address. Why are you gonna put that address? Remember, I told you that when you do the configuration of the helper, the router forward DHCP request across the network, and this router, it's gonna request the DHCP to this router, in the network. That's why you have to pick this address. The address is 10.1.1. Good. But now let us go to verify. I want to show you something. When we go to the zone, to the first network, we can check. The computer gonna get the IP from the DHCP easily. As you can see, it works. Here also, it works. Let me go here. It works too. But if we move to the zone 1, we try to connect the computer to the server, to the DHCP, it will not work. It's gonna give us a paper. It's requesting IP address. It doesn't work. It gives us a paper. This is the mistake that many people are doing. After configuring the DHCP in this centralized router, or even if you use the DHCP server, the last step, you have to configure one of the routing. That can be the dynamic routing or static routing. But here, I'm gonna configure the static routing because someone asked me to do it. The role of static routing in this topology or in this project is that because we'd like to establish the communication. The static routing is used to enable communication between multiple networks. Okay, let me go to this router, DHCP router. Conft IP routes 172.16.1.0.255.255.255, and the next up or the next IP address is 10.1.1.2. This is the command to to configure IP route. Then let me move to the second router. From the second router, IP route 192.168.1.1.255. Then the next hop or the next IP address is 10.1.1. Sorry, this should be the network address, not the default address. Do show is. This is the command. Okay, now let us go to check to the network, to the zone 2, if the computer is able to get the IP address from the DHCP. You see, now the computer gets the IP address from the DHCP. When you do the configuration, don't forget to configure one of the routing. You can use dynamic routing or static routing. Thank you for watching this video. See you next time. Bye.